Hello there, you're on the Heart of Reddit channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Get your popcorn ready and enjoy. We talked. I used to work for a company where the majority of the work was done outside of the office on our own. Most staff would go into the office once a week, and since they went in based on what fit their schedule best, there was a chance you might never have met a fellow employee despite you both having worked there for months. One day we had a training session. These would happen around every 3-4 months. This meant that all employees were called in. I already knew what we were being trained on, since I had helped the manager on it beforehand. Still, everyone was expected at training including me, so I was there. For the first hour or so everything went like usual. Then we had a break. I headed outside for some fresh air, whilst another guy went out for a smoke. We hadn't met before, so we introduced ourselves. Turns out we had a lot in common. We got on like a house on fire and both had a similar stupid sense of humor. When we went back inside when they wanted to restart training, we were still chatting. After around 20 minutes, where we had quietly cracked some jokes to each other about the training material, the boss stood up and said, "Guys, there is a Starbucks up the road. Go there, get a drink, and don't come back until you have finished talking." Okay, so we went to Starbucks, grabbed a drink each, chatted about various subjects. Before we knew it, it had gone 5 p.m. Work was done for the day, so we went home. 2 days later, we were both called into the office. The manager wanted to know why we hadn't returned to training. He told us to not come back until we had finished talking. Yes, well, we weren't finished talking, at which point both of us were trying to keep a straight face. The boss looked at us, both and sighed. I really should have seen that coming. In the end I trained him up on the stuff we had missed, and we've been really close friends ever since. Hours will be counted. I worked as a contract graphic designer for a large Canadian retailer that has a big cat as their logo. I had the habit of staying later to finish projects, but only charged for regular 9-5. As such, the supervisor and I had an unwritten agreement that I could show up a little late from time to time, since I always got the work done on time. One day, I'm coming in 25 minutes after 9 and the head of HR runs into me in the hallway. She asks if I'm just arriving to work. I tell her yes, and she immediately escorts me to the supervisor's office to rat me out. The supervisor tries to explain our agreement, but the HR manager tells me that if it happens again my contract will be terminated. From that day forward I started counting all my overtime and billing them for it. When asked why I was suddenly billing at a higher rate by management, I explained to them what had happened. A few weeks later I was offered a better job elsewhere, and decided I would show up late the next day. The HR manager saw me get there late, and started stomping over. As she arrived, I handed her my resignation letter and walked out. I found out later that they ended up needing to hire 2 designers to keep up with the pace that I was keeping on my own. No cooking advice needed from a child. Enjoy ruining your burner. When I was around 9-10, I was over my best friend's house for the day to hang out, swim, play video games and just have an awesome summer day. The only problem is his dad was a complete canoe. He always seemed to be in a bad mood, and was very short with people, quick-tempered. As a kid, I was terrified of him. Anyway, I'm over there that day and his dad decides to make us some mac and cheese for lunch. My friend and I are sitting at the kitchen table playing cards when he starts to get things ready. Now I'm not sure how this guy got to be his age without knowing the properties of different materials, but I look over and see he has placed a big plastic mixing bowl on a burner filled with water. As a child obsessed with fire, I was pretty intimately familiar with the melting properties of plastic. I say something like, "Sir, I think that's wrong," but I'm immediately cut off with, paraphrased, "Bear I bit sound I don't need a child giving me cooking advice. Go outside guys." So we do. Not even 10 minutes later I hear the smoke detectors going off from outside. This clown left the bowl unattended on an electric stove, and it melted all over the top. The next time I was over there were still bits of plastic on parts of the stove top, and a missing burner. I wish I could have been there when he had to explain it all to my buddy's mom.